Rowoon chooses love. The Untold Paris wedding with Park Eun is the moment fans never saw coming, yet one that feels like it was written in the stars. For years, their chemistry on-screen lit up television screens across the world. From their first collaboration, fans whispered that their closeness seemed too real to be confined to fiction. Their subtle glances, the warmth in their smiles, and the way they carried each other in emotional scenes became more than just acting to those who believed in their story. But even then, no one could have predicted that years later, in the city of love itself, Paris, Rowoon and Park Eun would quietly exchange vows, away from the bright flash of cameras and the chaos of media attention. The revelation of their secret Paris wedding stunned fans worldwide. It wasn't just the wedding itself that caused waves, but the secrecy, the intimacy, and the clear decision Rowoon made when he chose love over fame, over pressure, and over the expectations of an entire industry. Whispers first began when Rowoon was spotted arriving in Paris under the radar. There were no flashy announcements, no press briefings, just a quiet trip that didn't go unnoticed by the most observant fans. Park Eun, equally discreet, was seen leaving for Europe a few days earlier under the guise of a private vacation. Few thought much of it at the time, but the puzzle pieces began to align when photos surfaced of the two in Paris, walking along the Seine, enjoying coffee at a small cafe, and sharing moments that spoke volumes without a single word. The actual wedding, as reports claim, was as intimate as it was breathtaking. No grand ballrooms, no paparazzi, no throngs of reporters, just a quiet gathering with a few family members and close friends. The ceremony took place in a private venue, a small historic chapel in the heart of Paris, decorated with simple white flowers and warm candlelight. Park Eun was said to have worn an elegant gown that reflected her timeless charm, while Rowoon looked every bit the leading man he has always been. But this time, not for a drama, for his real life. For fans who have followed their journey, this moment feels like the culmination of years of unspoken affection. Many recall the way Rowoon once admitted in an interview that he admires women who are resilient, compassionate, and grounded. Park Eun embodies all of that and more. She, on the other hand, once described her ideal partner as someone who listens, someone who understands her quiet nature, and someone who can make her feel safe even in the most unpredictable times. Together, they found exactly that in each other. The reactions online have been nothing short of explosive. Fans flooded social media platforms with hashtags celebrating the couple, calling their union a real-life drama ending. Some expressed shock, admitting they had no idea the two were romantically involved, while others said they had seen it coming all along, pointing to subtle hints during past award shows, behind-the-scenes clips, and the undeniable way they looked at each other. One fan even commented, "We've all been watching a love story unfold for years, but the script wasn't written by a writer. It was written by their hearts." Industry insiders have also weighed in. Some say their decision to marry in Paris instead of Seoul speaks volumes about their desire for privacy and authenticity. In South Korea, celebrity weddings often become media spectacles, with every detail dissected and analyzed. But Rowoon and Park Eun seem to choose a path that allowed them to focus solely on each other, on their promises, and on love itself, away from the noise. The whispers don't end there. Already, discussions are swirling about what this marriage means for their careers. Rowoon, known for his towering presence and heartthrob image, has always had an army of fans who adored his bachelor charm. Park Eun, admired for her talent and grace, carries a reputation as one of the industry's most respected actresses. Some wonder if this revelation might shift the trajectory of their projects, endorsements, and even casting opportunities. Yet, others believe their marriage will only strengthen their brand, proving that love doesn't have to be sacrificed for stardom. It's also worth noting that their union sends a powerful message within the entertainment industry. For years, celebrities have struggled to balance their personal lives with public expectations, often hiding relationships for fear of backlash. By choosing to marry, and to do so on their own terms, Rowoon and Park Eun are quietly challenging the status quo, showing that happiness should not be postponed in the name of maintaining a certain image. Fans are already imagining what their future together could look like. Will they continue acting side by side, perhaps taking on projects as a married couple? Will they settle into family life while balancing their careers? Speculation even runs as far as potential parenthood in the future, with fans expressing excitement at the idea of the two starting a family. For now, though, all that matters is that they've chosen each other. The emotional depth of this story lies not only in the wedding itself, but in what it represents. It represents Rowoon choosing stability, sincerity, and love. It represents Park Eun Bin finding a partner who sees her for who she truly is, beyond the glitz and the glamour. And together, it represents two stars who could have easily let fame dictate their lives, but instead decided to write their own ending. As with every major revelation, there are those who raise questions. Why keep it a secret for so long? Did their agencies know? How long have they truly been together? These mysteries only add to the intrigue, making fans even more eager to piece together the untold story. Industry whispers suggest that their relationship has quietly endured for years, built on trust, shared values, and countless moments away from the public eye. If true, this means what happened in Paris wasn't rushed. It was the natural next step in a love story that's been steadily growing. What comes next for Rowoon and Park Eun Bin remains to be seen. Whether they choose to share more details of their Paris wedding or continue guarding their privacy, one thing is clear: the world will be watching, supporting, and celebrating their journey. For fans, this isn't just a wedding announcement, it's a love story worth cherishing, a reminder that sometimes the most beautiful dramas don't air on television screens but unfold quietly, far from the spotlight, in moments shared between two hearts. In the end, Rowoon chose love, and in doing so, he and Park Eun Bin gifted fans with a story that feels both surreal and deeply human. Their untold Paris wedding will go down not just as a shocking revelation, but as one of the most heartfelt moments in the ever-evolving world of K-drama romance. And so, as Paris quietly became the keeper of Rowoon and Park Eun Bin's secret wedding, their story began to take on a new life of its own. What started as whispers in the industry was now spiraling into one of the most talked-about moments in Korean entertainment. Fans around the globe, still shocked at the news, were scrambling to piece together what really happened that day in Paris and why the couple had chosen to keep it so private. Some insiders revealed that the ceremony was breathtaking in its simplicity. There were no flashing cameras, no red carpets, no extravagant displays, just Rowoon, Eun Bin, their closest family members, and a handful of trusted friends. They were said to have exchanged vows in a quiet Parisian chapel, one adorned with white roses and soft candlelight. It wasn't the grandeur of the venue that mattered, but the intimacy of the moment, the raw honesty in their voices, and the way they held each other's hands as though the world beyond those doors no longer existed. The choice of Paris as their wedding destination stirred even deeper conversations. Paris has always been known as the city of love, but for Rowoon and Eun Bin, it symbolized more than romance. It was a place far from the blinding spotlight of Korean media, where they could truly be themselves without judgment or speculation. Industry whispers suggest that Rowoon was adamant about protecting Eun Bin from unnecessary stress, wanting to shield her from the frenzy of a highly publicized wedding back home. He wanted this moment to be about them, not the cameras, not the headlines, not the rumors, just them. But of course, when news finally broke, it sparked a tidal wave of reactions. Some fans were absolutely overjoyed, calling it the most beautiful love story to ever emerge from K-drama history. They pointed out how the couple's chemistry had always felt genuine, not just on screen, but in interviews and behind-the-scenes clips. To these fans, this secret Paris wedding was simply the natural continuation of a romance that had been blossoming quietly for years. Others, however, were left stunned, even conflicted. Some admitted they felt blindsided, wishing the stars had shared more openly with their supporters who had cheered them on from the beginning. A few fans took to social media expressing their heartbreak, not because they didn't want the two together, but because they had dreamed of seeing the wedding unfold with them, celebrating openly alongside their idols. The secrecy, while understandable, left them longing for more. Industry insiders began weighing in, too. Some called this a bold, even risky move, arguing that keeping such a milestone hidden could complicate Rowoon and Eun Bin's public image. Others defended the decision wholeheartedly, saying it was a rare act of defiance against the relentless demands of celebrity culture. For once, these two stars had taken control of their own narrative, prioritizing their happiness above all else. As the news spread further, new questions started emerging. Would Rowoon and Eun Bin eventually hold a public ceremony in Korea to honor their fans? Would they release official wedding photos, or would the Paris chapter remain shrouded in mystery? And perhaps the most pressing question of all, what does this mean for their future careers? Some speculate that Rowoon may take a step back from the spotlight temporarily, choosing instead to savor married life before returning to the stage or screen. Others believe that this wedding could mark the beginning of a new era for both stars, one where they work together on projects that reflect not only their individual talents, but also their shared journey. Imagine the possibilities: joint dramas, brand endorsements as a couple, or even international collaborations that frame them as one of Asia's most powerful duos. Still, the couple has remained quiet, offering no official statements beyond a subtle acknowledgement from their agencies. This silence only fuels curiosity, leaving fans clinging to every rumor, every supposed insider account, and every blurry photo allegedly taken in Paris. And yet, in that silence lies something profound. It may just be their way of saying, "This is ours. This love, this wedding, this story, it belongs to us first." And that is perhaps what makes their story so compelling. In an industry where every move is scrutinized, where every relationship is dissected, Rowoon and Park Eun found a way to carve out a space for themselves, a sacred moment untouched by fame. They reminded fans that at the heart of all the glamour, there are still two people, human and vulnerable, who simply wanted to promise forever to each other. The question now isn't just about what happened in Paris, but what comes next. Will this marriage redefine the way Korean celebrities approach love and privacy? Will it inspire others to choose authenticity over spectacle? Or will Rowoon and Eun face challenges ahead as the weight of public expectation inevitably settles upon them? Whatever the case, one thing is clear: their story has already changed the way fans view on-screen love stories that turn into reality. It has blurred the line between fiction and truth, between scripted romance and real-life devotion. For many, it has reignited hope, the belief that sometimes, just sometimes, the fairy tales we see in dramas can come alive in the most unexpected, beautiful ways. And as fans wait for Rowoon and Eun's next move, one truth lingers in the air. Paris may have been the setting, but the Rowoon story lies in the love that brought them there. A love that refused to be defined by cameras, contracts, or controversy. A love that, against all odds, chose to write its own ending and perhaps its own beginning.